Okay. So energies that you are moving through towards the end of February, bringing into March, and into April. The Matriarch, the Seven of Cups in reverse, and the Chariot. Cool. I'm using the Smith-Waite Tarot deck, the Centennial Edition, Gemini. And there are 2 extra cards in this deck to make it 80. And it also includes 2 samples of Pixie's non-tarot art, and the Matriarch card is one of those, in addition to the Divine Lovers card. We'll see if that comes up. It hasn't come up in a while. So the Matriarch, she's an energy of stability and tradition and nurturing, feeling at home in a place, and being surrounded with your loved ones, and it feeling very positive and good and uplifting and supportive. So moving into March out of February, I'm going to also pull clarifiers on these. I feel like this energy, these people who you're bringing into March with you, feel much more supportive than the people in your past. I briefly looked at and rewatched the video that I made for you, the channeled messages for February, and there's some releasing of old relationships who were the naysayers against what you are up to, Gemini, and there was an energy of you focusing and pulling in new relationships that felt more supportive and more like home. And I feel like these are those people that you're carrying forward with you into March. So the Ace of Pentacles. They may not be supporting you in a financial way, but regardless, they could be supporting you in other ways, not necessarily monetarily, but in an emotional way. And through talking, I'm getting conversations and phone conversations and communication, and not so much maybe you did ask them for financial assistance and they just simply don't have the means to be able to provide that to you at this moment, and that may not be a no forever, but I feel like it's just a no for now. And the Seven of Cups in reverse with the Sun. I'll pull a clarifier for the Chariot too. The Ten of Swords. I'm going to pick these up. Oh, my fluorite fell over. You guys see this? I don't know if you can see the striations in that. It's so pretty. Okay, back to it. The ending that you have been undergoing, Gemini, you are so thankful and grateful that that situation is over, and you are charging forward and not looking back at these projects, relationships, professional situations, careers, circumstances, in associations or community organizations, clubs. You've had it. And the finality with which you are moving forward feels good to you with the Chariot. And that feels triumphant that that's behind you and you've moved on. Because those projects felt like they were wasting your time, your energy, and confusing you almost. And you weren't getting the rewards out of the time and effort and energy that you were putting into it. And I'm not saying that there has to be an equal give and take in all situations, Gemini, but in this particular one that you're moving out of February from, it was just time to close that door and say goodbye, because it wasn't bringing you joy anymore. And you had other options to consider that looked more desirable and potentially fruitful in I feel like you're moving in a totally new, awesome direction, moving into March with the Chariot and the Ten of Swords here. So let's see what March has to bring in. The Page of Wands in reverse, the King of Pentacles, and the Four of Wands. So this guy, he's a little troublemaker, the Page of Wands in reverse. And I don't feel like this is you. I feel like it's a younger fire sign who's meddlesome and, I don't want to say he's a jerk, but he's just annoying. And you don't want to have to deal with him, but I feel like you kind of have to, Gemini, and tolerate and put up. Maybe it's, I hate to say it, maybe it's your son and who's being a little dink in March. And oh, maybe he's coming home to ask you for some money and you're like, no, get a job, honey. And you support him in that way and encourage him, but it's past its prime for him to rely on you in that way, and enough's enough. So I'm not sure why that's coming through. Let me know in the comments below. Sorry, I'm laughing, but I feel like you're finding some levity around this situation with this person. It's definitely a younger, immature energy, and you do have the upper hand in this relationship. So keep in your truth, Gemini, and communicate kindly, and make sure you're not coming from, if you do feel frustrated or angry, don't speak in those moments, but wait until you're in a more calm state. And this came through in February too, like getting a hold of the sporadic or the instigating, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like the fire under your butt to kind of burst out at people in the moment, and then you become a little bit regretful that the words that flew out of your mouth did. So just watch that in March, particularly with this person. I'm gonna pull a clarifier. It's an opportunity, Gemini, for you to come into this situation and this relationship with your cup full. With, again, just what I was saying, not speaking when you're feeling upset or trying to handle a situation or a problem in your life when you're feeling rattled, but keep centered and say your prayers and call on your guides and angels and spirit to help you to breathe. I want you to breathe in March. Feeling really silly in this reading. So maybe getting by some water, taking a bath, going to a lake, the seaside, the ocean, if you have access to a body of water or river. I feel like the water element is really going to be supportive for you, Gemini, in the month of February. It's going to soothe your anger and your frustration with this person. So don't come at them at that level, at their level. That's not going to work. You're just going to go around in circles and circles with this person. But step away and do your own thing and center yourself, take care of yourself, and from a different, higher perspective, you will be able to find the solutions of how to handle this energy in your life. So the Eight of Wands in reverse and the Knight of Swords. I wonder if this person wants to move back in with you. I'm getting that. And he's moved away from home and he wants to come back, and I feel like you've redecorated his room already because that era is over and you've moved on and experienced a little bit of freedom without having to take care of this person. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a relative. It could be somebody who feels like family to you, with the matriarch card here, that is needing some additional support But the way that you're seeing the situation, it's like they haven't been making the best decisions in their life, which has led them to be in this unstable financial situation that they're coming to you for assistance on. And I feel like you're going to consider it if it happens in a different way than it has in the past. Like if they are able to contribute as a young adult to the household and get a job and be responsible for what they need to be responsible for in their life and not just give them a free handout. I feel like in that way, you would be more open to giving them assistance in the way that they're requesting or asking you. But if they're expecting it from you, Gemini, I feel like a conversation needs to happen in order for you to set your boundaries and in a loving, kind way. Because having, again, the conversation on their level is not going to be effective. It's not going to feel good. I'm going to turn these cards over for some more messages moving out of March. So the 9 of Wands in reverse, the 2 of Swords, and the Major Arcana, the Hermit. So you have a few Major Arcana here with the Sun and the Chariot. I call that Major Arcana, the Matriarch, and the Hermit. So I feel like you're going to be having conversations with your girlfriends, Gemini, about this situation and wanting to get outside opinions and an objective viewpoint as to the correct course of action. However, that may feel good to vent to them, but ultimately the answers are going to be your decision and need to come from within and not an outside source with the Hermit card here. And the way that you've been approaching the situation, Gemini, isn't going to be appropriate anymore. So this guy has been through the battle and he's defending his turf even though he's tired. I don't feel like you have the energy anymore to defend your turf in the way that you would have in the past, and there's going to be a new way to handle the situation. And I feel that's where the Ace of Cups is coming in, Gemini. From the word boundaries is coming up, and not soft boundaries, but communicating them in a loving but firm way and sticking to them. Because that's how you're going to establish this respect and rapport in this situation and feel like you can have the serenity on the home front and in your finances that you've worked so hard to attain to get where you are, Gemini. And you're not going to just willy-nilly throw it to the wind onto a situation or a person that isn't pulling their own weight and hasn't in the past proven to you that they're doing absolutely all that they can to do the work on themselves, to better themselves. And like if they need more training or schooling or programs that they could put themselves into and doing the groundwork themselves. And I feel like you need to be seeing an initial initiative coming from their side, from their efforts. And that's going to feel better for you to support them in that way. It's like how Jesus wasn't going to just give his followers fish, but he's going to teach them how to fish. It's that sort of thing. Like if somebody needs help doing a resume, you're not going to do it for them, but you're going to put them in the way of the resources that they can get the help they need in order to get it done. Let's see. The 3 of Cups, the Two of Wands in reverse, and the Lovers. Yeah. So the Lovers is a union card, the balance of the yin and the yang, the feminine and the masculine principles in oneself, I feel like in this case. And I feel like you're coming through this introspection, and this situation is your teacher. Everybody is our teacher, even if they are younger than us or an immature energy. Everybody that appears in our life karmically are our teachers, and we are their teachers. And when we open ourselves to that possibility of each circumstance being the template or the playground on which our souls can sort of wrestle and tackle with these difficult situations that keep arising, Gemini, in similar but different ways, maybe the same players, or different players, but same situation, until we actually get the lesson of holding to our boundaries, of creating, of making sure that before we give to others, that we feel we're coming from a place of fullness. Our sanctuary of, your sanctuary of divine love, that ultimately you are taken care of by spirit, by the universe, that the universe is in fact working in your favor. And coming from that deep inner knowing and the trust and the faith that the universe has your back. And however that is structured for you, Gemini, is going to be different for everybody depending on whether it be a religion or a support group or a meditation practice or yoga or nature walks, or some sort of outside financial assistance. Make sure that before you put yourself in a situation to give to others, that you have enough, because otherwise it just creates resentment and a karmic pattern that keeps arising for you to have to deal with. And I feel like that's the message of the Hermit with the Lovers, 2 major arcana cards. It's a big message, Gemini, that if you're not feeling in union with body, mind, and soul and integrated as a solid entity yourself, and you find that from within, it emanates from within outward. Until you can come from that place, these people who are coming to you for assistance in any capacity, it behooves you to stop and focus your energy not in the outward direction of where these people are coming at you rapidly and quickly and sort of pushing you into a corner to make a quick decision, but bide your time if you can, because it's going to look different than what you think, Gemini, and it's going to be easier. It's going to be an easier decision than what you're making it out to be. Because the defensiveness, you can drop the defensiveness in the situation with this person, and turn it into, again, the playground is coming through. And with your girlfriends, yeah, call them up and do your venting, but not in a shameful dumping sort of way. Be like, hey, can I bend your ear for a couple minutes? I need to get this off my chest. And then, thank them for listening and move on to other topics. And in those other topics, when you focus on the areas of your life, Gemini, that are flowing and feel good, then the decision, it's not coming from the same thinking from where the problem had originated. Like, get out of that thinking. You're not going to be able to solve it with the same thinking. It's coming from a much more centered place with these cups. And when you're feeling joyful and happy and abundant and solid in yourself, Gemini. So I hope some parts of these messages made sense. I'm going to pull an oracle card for you too. I'm going to pull you a crystal card from the Judy Hall deck using the Crystal Wisdom Healing Oracle for an additional message for the month of March. That message, Gemini, felt very specific. So being general reading is not going to resonate with everybody. So please do check out your moon and rising sign videos, my darlings. And let me know in the comment section below what parts were like, yeah, that's totally happening in my life. And tell me what's up with them. I'd love to hear from you guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already. All right. Ooh, Moldavite. That's a powerful one. It enhances the energies of all other crystals. Number 34. Metamorphosis. Moldavite was created when a giant meteorite slammed into Earth some 11 million years ago, fusing the power of the cosmos with that of Mother Earth. Yeah, the power of the cosmos. That's totally coming up with the Hermit and the Lovers in reverse. Coming into that divine knowing. Put those right there. Gemini. Self-understanding. You are a child of the stars and find the environment of Earth heavy and inert. Moldavite raises your vibrations with inflooding cosmic light so that you feel more at home. More at home. You are on a search for the inner grail, awareness of your divine origins. Release ingrained beliefs to make way for spiritual metamorphosis. Oh, I love it. Can't make this stuff up, Gemini. So the spiritual metamorphosis is like what I was channeling earlier, how you're not going to solve this problem with the same thinking that created it in the first place. It's way easier than you think because it's not coming from a thinking place. It's coming from a divinely guided place with the Ace of Cups and the Three of Cups.